Today we're gonna be climbing the Doom Tower. Yes, it's time to go ahead and check out this piece of content in Raid Shadow Legends and see what we can do in it and what it's all about. Hello, my name is Midway and welcome to a new Raid Shadow Legends video. Let's dive into the Doom Tower, right? So the Doom Tower is a kind of content that you will unlock a little bit deeper into the game. I think it's about level 40 something, maybe 30 something, but it's gonna be a little bit higher up there, right? So it's not gonna be available right off the bat for yourself, right? So it's all going to be about what it kind of seems a little bit obvious, going through a lot of levels in a little bit of a stair. As you can see, you are not going to be able to progress to the next level until you first clear the previous ones, right? Every single level is going to be coming together with some specific unique rewards, and there is in between all those individual levels, there will be some bosses, right? So you will need to go through the bosses first if you want to keep on going up and up and up. And as you can see, there is a lot of levels to it. You can even go all the way up to 120, at which point you will unlock one very special reward, which, yeah, it's going to be a champion. I'm not too sure actually, because I've never actually gone to check it, but it's an icon, and I'm assuming it's also going to be a champion unlocked, or rather attached to it. But if it's just an icon, well, there we go. Freeze! Click the link in the description right now and get a free legendary Karato, as well as 2 free epics as you level up. So here's what you need to do. First of all, log out of Plarium Play on PC and uninstall. Then click the link in the description of this video and register a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial, and then go to your inbox and claim your first champ. You'll find Karato here, as well as Tagoar and Uugo as you progress through the game. This is an amazing account starting Raid, so click the link right now and follow the steps. And if you are a Legend of Mushroom player, I also got a special link down there in the description. Don't miss out on this offer, go ahead and check it out now. So, there is also going to be special kind of stages, I would call them, which will have a special requirements to complete. In this case, for example, we got one where only rare champions can be used. You cannot even use uncommons, it's only rare champions. So, you are going to be needing to kind of come up with different teams for all these different very specific scenarios. Now, a very good thing about the Doom Tower is that you can select the best teams kind of option over here, which is going to be allowing you to see what have other people been able to come up with for clearing this very specific stage. So you can kind of copy their compositions, even if you might have those champions at very lower levels. As you can see, these people have very strong teams with only rare champions. They're all level 60, ascended, and all of that good stuff. Also with soul levels, right? So coming up with these things is not going to be easy, and all these rankings are based off of the turns taken. So the shorter the amount of turns, the higher the rank, because that's also going to mean that obviously the team is a little bit stronger since it's able to clear the thing quicker. So it's not about copying one-to-one what you see in here, but it's more about getting a general idea of what champions are really working, right? So all of these champions, you're going to have very easy access early on in the game with a few summons, not even needing to spend any money. So you will see a lot of Bellowers, you will see some Frozen Banshees, you might see your Kales and your Elhines in there. So this is going to be a pretty accessible kind of team that you can build. You can also check the global rankings. I was only looking at my own clan's rankings to get a bigger idea of what everybody else is doing, so you can see some very elite teams if it wants to load. There we go, it finally wanted to load. So you will find some crazy stuff if you look at this screen, and honestly, I'm not sure if some of these people are cheating or what, but you are going to be seeing some nuts things happening. The comps are not even that crazy. It's just like single champions usually gonna be extremely broken. You might really want to consider using those if you got any in your setup. And honestly, I don't really get to understand how these kinds of compositions can be that strong in particular. But yeah, you get me. You got resources over here to try and beat this, and there is even small competitions going on within very particular stages, right? So it is a very interesting kind of levels, because you are also going to be getting shards. So as you can see, this reward up here, it's gonna be meaning that you're gonna be getting shards for one specific champion, which I don't know which one it will be. Honestly, you can find that out somewhere, most likely. Over here, we're gonna be seeing some other stuff, which we're gonna be talking about right now, which is the resources you get out of doing the bosses, right? So clearing the stages, you can only do that once, and that's it. You're not gonna be actually able to get anything else out of doing that. There's no more rewards attached to it, besides probably some silver and some regular gear. But the important thing is gonna be on farming the bosses, right? The bosses are going to be farmable because they're going to be dropping some resources that you are going to be needing to use for crafting, right? So now I've used all my keys today, so I cannot show you what this boss in particular is going to be doing, but you can check it out here on the rewards information. You can see that this first floor boss is going to be dropping some magma cores, which are going to be used to craft artifacts in the forest. That's exactly what I've been doing. I've been using them quite heavily to farm myself some specific tier sets that I've been using on some champions, right? So as you go higher and higher and unlock higher level bosses, you will in turn be able to have access to those resources so that you can then in turn also be able to try get more good gear out of this. So let's go ahead and try the spider. Now I can check out the boss guide over here so we can see that he is a poison kind of boss. You're going to be also here being able to see teams of the week, but this is going to be mostly just all legendaries and the things that are going to be quite unobtainable. If you go once again to the best teams, in particular for the bosses, you will probably just go ahead and see a lot of people using their A teams. Probably just going to be very, very inaccessible for most people early on in the game. Me, myself included, I'm not able to get to this boss in particular. So yeah, you can just see that, like, for example, a lot of this one specific champion is repeating on all these teams. So if you happen by any chance to have that one, you're good to go. You can just clear the whole thing with just that one champion. We're going to be trying to come up with something that works on this guy. So we're going to be going for a setup that I haven't really tried just yet, and that is going to be the following. I'm not going to be using my Akentum because I know this guy doesn't really like poisons. He's actually a debuffing kind of boss himself with a lot of poisons. So let's give it a shot with this team and see if we can actually accomplish something. So every stage is going to be just like your regular boss. You're going to have to clear some of the trash before you actually get access to it. And it's not going to be too different from basically any other kind of avenue in this game. It's a content that you are supposed to farm, as I mentioned. Once you get to a point where you're able to clear that boss, you will want to likely be repeating it every single day using all your keys on them so you can go ahead and just accumulate more of the resources so you are able to craft more and more and more stuff, right? So these levels are going to be a little bit tougher. We'll go ahead and try to see if we are able to go through this boss first and foremost. Then we'll be able to move on to the regular stages, which are more like the campaign, where you will have 3 rounds of just ads, so it's not going to be any bosses in there, so we can also go ahead and check out that type of content. So there we go, we are now at the boss, and since it's a spider, well, we're going to be able to see a lot of minions in this fight, but as you can see, the amount of poisons we got going on already is crazy, and I don't have any debuff removal, so that's going to be an insane amount of damage I'm going to be taking right now. There's no way I'm going to be able to heal all of that stuff. That's why we're just going down so quickly. It's crazy. I don't even know how I can start to defeat this boss without some debuff protection or some very specific setup where I can remove all those debuffs immediately, because even the small spiders, they have a lot of speed, so they will initially just apply all their poisons, as you could see there, and this is already straight up just lost. I mean, my Alice can go and do some work, but sure enough, as soon as my Oella goes down, well, everything else is gonna be pretty much useless. She's gonna be, unfortunately, unable to survive the whole thing. That's just how it is. I mean, these kinds of bosses, they are a little bit of my current struggle in the game to get through very kind of comp-specific reliant bosses where, I mean, if I have a very OP champion and she's just like extremely geared, kind of like my Alice is right now, then I could do some work, but as you could see, there was a lot of healing out of something. I don't know exactly what did that healing, but there you go. She is totally unkillable as it is right now for my current team. So it is a pretty tough kind of content, right? Don't get me wrong. Getting through the initial stage is going to be quite easy if you got a decent setup. The going up the stairs kind of levels, they are easily doable without too much effort with a decent team that's like able to have some sustain and some AoE damage. But the bosses, man, the bosses themselves are crazy. There is also the other kind of levels, just like the one before where we talked about that there is only rare champions that are able to be used. There is going to be the same scenario for different factions. So as you can see, I can only use these few champions because they are all from that one specific faction. So if I'm not using these guys, I am not able to even do this level. You will once again find the best teams function over here, so you can check out what other people are using, but it's going to be more of the same. Once you face very, very hard kind of levels, well, it's always going to be these same things where it's like one OP champion, and then maybe in your own clans, it's going to be a little bit of the same, a little bit of a big spread of quite high-end legendaries and epics, right? So overall, not gonna be the most approachable kind of levels unless you got a lot of investment into those very specific factions or even types of champions, because just to get a good bear setup so you can actually do this level, it's gonna be requiring a little bit of investment just on those very specific rares. You're gonna have to level them up, ascend them, yada yada yada. It's not gonna be extremely accessible early on. As you can see, the guys over here, they are level 130, 125. They are quite high level, right? So we're not talking about just going in there and that's it. It's quite high level. So this is not just as far as it goes. If this doesn't feel a little bit already hard enough, as a new player, of course, I've only got 2 weeks of experience into the game and we are stuck at floor level 20 right now. Well, of course, that goes all the way up to level 120. So yeah, there's a massive run all the way to the end. But we also have a hard mode. A hard mode that from floor 1 is going to be starting at all these enemies level at 250. So yeah, it's quite tough. It's quite tough to get this whole thing done. Once again, there's going to be a whole lot of things that you can get out of here. You can see some very, very good charts. There's going to be a lot of resources, material. So you want to be putting your effort into this, but damn, man, it's hard content. Now, there's also this little rankings button right here, which can show you for every specific type of content who has gotten all the way up to the highest level. But I'm assuming this is counting the overall turns taken in every single level for this difficulty, right? So you got all the floors and all the very specific rooms, which mean the ones here on the left, which have the special things going on for them, which we talked about, of course, the only one faction or only this type of specific kind of champion. So yeah, only a few people have been able to do that in the whole global servers, actually. Yeah, most of them have completely finished it up. I was looking at the clan rankings, but as you can see, this is the idea, to do it as quickly as possible. So it's just another way of being competitive so that you just have the best kind of team for every specific level, so you can lower this turn taken count. This is just going to be some sort of measuring contest where it's not going to be something you can compete in, but damn, this is the kind of content that you really want to be pushing yourself through once you actually are able to put some good progress into the game, because it's not really accessible early on. I was able to find the list of the fragments you're going to be getting out of doing the specific kinds of floors that are going to be having the special requirements. So these are all the rewards you can get from normal, and these are all the rewards you can get out of doing it on hard difficulty. Now, a very, very, very important thing that I forgot to mention about the Doom Tower is that it's going to be resetting every month. It has a 30-day time limit. That means that after a month, it's going to be restarting. All your progress is going to go down to 0, and you're going to be having it to do it all over again. But the rewards are going to be resetting. Then the bosses are going to be changing place. All the enemies are going to be different. So you might get a boss that you want to be farming a little bit sooner. So if you're not able to go all the way up like I am, well, instead of having the spider over here or whatever this guy is actually over here, which is going to be dropping a specific kind of farming material, then that could change, and then that's something else that you can farm instead, so you're able to benefit out of that and craft something differently, right? So you will always be able to just keep reclearing this so you can get all the very specific rewards you can see over here, as well as obviously also be farming the shards, because otherwise, once you got the shards, which I'm assuming it's going to be just a few of them every time, you would not be able to fully finish up the champion. So you need to be doing this every month basically to eventually be able to farm all those champions that you are able to get from the specific levels. And it's also going to be resetting the ranking, so you can just go ahead and do it again, because well, you're going to have the rooms be differently. So in that case, you are going to be able to have a different approach. People are going to have to come up with different ways of doing it, and it's going to be keeping it fresh and keeping it competitive. So that is a TLDR of the way the Doom Tower works. Now, if you want a lot more in-depth information, go ahead and check out Hell Hades. There's going to be guides for every specific stage, every specific room, and good comps that you might want to be getting into to actually beat the Doom Tower. As a new player, the content seems really unapproachable. Let me just go ahead and say that real quick. And before you go ahead and check out Aptoide if you haven't done so yet. If you are playing Raid Shadow Legends and you're not doing so through Aptoide, you are missing out on a lot of extra value for your money. So the way Aptoide works is the following. If you go ahead and try to buy anything when you are playing Raid Shadow Legends through Aptoide on an Android device, on an emulator, or on your PC, you are going to be getting some bonuses when doing so. So if you go ahead and try to buy this pack right now and we do it through Aptoide, what's going to happen is you're going to be seeing the bonus you're going to be getting, and that bonus can go from 10% of the money you're spending all the way up to 35%, right? So you can see that you can accumulate a lot of value, eventually being able to afford all these things without actually using your real money. Because once we have enough of that bonus, we're gonna be going ahead and using our Aptoide balance, that is the bonuses we're getting, to do the purchase for us. So instead of actually using our real money, we are using the bonuses we got before to buy the things for ourselves without actually using our money. Now you can increase these bonuses by doing things like using my code, which is going to be down here in the description as well as on the screen, and that is going to be increasing the bonus by a flat 5% for the get-go. So basically you're going to be going ahead and getting a lot more value if you're going to be doing these purchases through Aptoide instead of just regularly through the regular game on any other client. So that's going to be it from it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye. See you.